And welcome back to my session about React. Today we're going to build on top of what we have already seen yesterday. And if you haven't checked my previous video, I'm going to leave a link to the video in the description below. So yesterday what we have done is we have a link, we have a route that can only be accessed if the user is seen by the system as authorized. So we have this use auth with an auth context, uses an auth provider that we build for this purpose, in which we do a fake server-side request, and the server-side request goes back into the app and allows us to decide if a user should or shouldn't see a particular page. However, today I wanted to talk about a more specific problem that sometimes we encounter when making web apps. And this problem is that a route in the logged in area, for example, requires an header or maybe requires a footer, which is really common. So let's have a look at the app, how it stands right now, and we're going to start working on the app. So right now we have a private content that when we click, we go back to our login page, which is our home page. Right now there are no styles basically on this app, but we are going to add some of them soon. And then we have a public page, which is accessible to anyone. If I click on login, then user John Doe is logged in and I can look at the private content of the page. So let's go back to our code editor and let's start having a little bit of styling. What I'm gonna use for it. I'm planning to use styled components and material UI. So to make it happen, what we're gonna do, we're gonna open our terminal and we're going to do npm install. We're going to install styled components, and then we also need the types that go with styled components because they are not shipped by default, so we need to install them. Then we are going to install material UI, material UI core, but we're also gonna install material UI icons. Let's give it a little bit of time to npm to install those modules and update our package.json. So let's have a look what happened. Alright, I mistakenly deleted the open parentheses in here. So let's start by giving a little bit more styles to my app. So let's open our home page, and it's a very plain looking page. What we want to do, we want to have a little bit of header. So to get a little bit of header, we're gonna use something called an app bar. So we're going to create a new file, not under auth, under source. We're going to create header / header.tsx. This one, it's a React functional component. Let's make the text even a little bit bigger. So first of all, we're going to insert an app bar, and we take it from material UI core, and we can give a position of value static, so it's going to stay at the top and not move with the rest of the app. Then we're going to have a toolbar, and now on our toolbar, we're going to have a simple icon. So from React Material UI icons, we can see the different components that we have. And we're going to use a simple icon for our application. I'm going to choose a mobile icon because this app is going to be visible on a mobile device. But this is of course just a simple example. So we're going to import the icon. We're going to insert this icon in our toolbar, which is also our branding section. And now we're going to insert this header in our home. So we import the header, and now we go back in our browser. And there you go, we have our header. Now there is a little bit of gap, but we're going to take care of it slightly later. Now if I click on a different page, right now we're on the public page, this one is visible by anybody, only on the home page. We want to move this and we want to make it visible anywhere where the user is logged in. Okay, so what do we have to do to achieve it? Well, first of all, we can actually make use of our use of shortcut that is in our home, but we can also use it in our header. So const of is equal to use of. And now we're going to say welcome. Well, actually we can say auth dot user is different from null. If so, we can display a welcome message. Let's go back to the browser. Object is possibly null. TypeScript is complaining. However, we can actually say to TypeScript, well, if this check is not null, then user it's visible. So right now we are not visualizing it, but now if we log in, we're going to see welcome John Doe, which is what we want. The next bit is to display this toolbar only if the page is private. So how do we achieve it? Well, there is a really clever method that we can actually use in our application, and it's embedded within a private route. It's embedded within the use that we make use of the switch statement. So the switch statement is a statement where it tries to match something on the paths that it finds, and then it says, well, the first matching one is going to be sent back. So if, for example, I put a route with a path of slash public page 2, this route is not going to be matched because it's going to be always overwritten by the first one that is found, which is public page. Alright, so that said, it also means that we can put a full set of pages. We can group those pages in a clever way so that we can actually display them correctly. So I'm going to move the private route at the bottom, and I'm going to use React Fragment, which is this shorthand in here. We can have React.fragment, but the shorthand version, it is just the brackets without any text inside, and this is going to create no extra divs or enclosures. So we have this private route, and inside this private route we're going to put the header. So what is going to happen now? Now it's going to happen that when we go inside our private content, we're going to see the toolbar. So every time we're going to add a new page. So for example, if I have a private home, so from the home, I'm going to remove the header. So I'm going to add a new link. We are logged in, so I can go to my private home. I can go to my private content, and my public page is still visible without any header, which is what I'm looking for. When I log out, no, I don't have any logout function yet, so let's add a logout button. We can add it now in the header. For now, I'm just gonna add a button from Material UI, and later we're gonna make something a little nicer. Const handle logout of dot sign out. We can just pass through an empty function. We don't actually want to do anything. And on click we call handle logout. So if we log out, now we are back, and we cannot see any page except for the public page. We log it back in, we go to our private home, private content, all of them with our toolbar. So the trick is simply to have in our app.tsx a switch, and to have this block, this React fragment, where we want to display an extra block. And that's everything for today's video. If you want to keep watching the next episode of this series, where I'm gonna cover the whole of React, creating a full stack application using .NET and React, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time. Bye!